In today's video, we're going to be breaking down some of the top news articles from across the world in crypto and giving you what you need to know in a very short period of time with all the context required to kind of make some decisions around it. All right. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the ex-Disney CEO who went ahead and actually began entering into the crypto metaverse through a board membership. We're also going to do a quick touch on the EU and their crypto bill that luckily had part of it fail, but is still ongoing within the EU for legislation. We're going to also go ahead and talk about Polygon Studios, Polygon Matic, and the recent hiring of two major folks to their team. And then finally, at the end, this video was shared with me from the community, but there was a gentleman who is in Ukraine right now. He's a travel vlogger, and he actually ended up having to use Bitcoin to buy a car in order to escape. Okay? Like, it's the true use case of crypto. So we're going to touch on all of that and more. If it's your first time here, my name's Ryan. No Autopilot YouTube channel, okay? My goal here is giving you deep dives, some of the top analysis that you can find on YouTube. Our channel is low-key blowing up. We started the year with around 1,000 subs. Right now we're at 4,000, and every single one of you, I love you to death. If you're not part of the community, consider joining, and yeah, let's all make some money. Okay, so let's start this thing off here. So ex-Disney CEO Bob Iger's next step, investing in a metaverse startup run by a 29-year-old. So if you guys don't know, Bob Iger was the former CEO of Disney. And in his time there, he was the leading individual that went ahead and decided to buy out Marvel Studios. Okay, so massive, massive forethought to go ahead and do that. But there's also a ton of relationships and partnerships that kind of come with that track record and with that work history. So he went ahead and he actually invested in and got on the board of a project called Genies, which I have linked right here on the screen. And what they're targeting to do is combine avatars, fashion, and community into one. So just like, you know, some of those other projects out there really chasing down that whole metaverse vibe. Now, why do we care, right? How about Morgan Stanley went ahead and they mentioned that there's about an $8 trillion metaverse market in China alone. Okay, we also went ahead and we had Facebook go ahead and change their name to Meta earlier this year, really jockeying to kind of get after a first mover advantage in the metaverse space. So what this tells me is metaverse is here to stay. Okay, and if you, as of right now, do not have some exposure to metaverse in your crypto portfolio, I think you very likely could miss out. Okay, so if you want me to put out a video breaking down kind of my top metaverse picks or whatever, let me know in the comments of this video and we'll definitely get it covered in a future video. Cool. So the next thing I went ahead and hit the news wires was the EU's crypto bill that's ongoing right now. Okay, they have the Markets and Crypto Assets, or MiCA, which was introduced in 2020. And really their goal here is to try and establish a licensing agency to oversee crypto service providers. But to tell you like how far out in whack and lost these things are, part of their original legislative documentation was to go ahead and ban projects that use proof of work. So in essence, if you're a crypto service provider, you're not able to offer Ethereum or Bitcoin, right? Like it's so idiotic, it's almost funny. But it's important to pay attention to, because last week in another video, which I'll link up here on the screen somewhere, we also had Joe Biden go ahead and sign an executive order on cryptocurrencies, in essence asking all the departments to get back to him to establish a framework on how they can go ahead and try and control cryptocurrency and regulate it. And in that legislation, he mentioned that he's going to be working with international partners like the EU to go ahead and get some best practices rolled out. So I think that if you are in crypto right now, you know, you can go ahead and you can kind of target your main central exchanges, have crypto, buy, sell, trade, all that. That's totally fine. But I think you also need to keep an eye open for some of the truly decentralized projects out there like Monero, which we've covered, as well as Thorchain. Now, the EU and the UK are not done with their attempts to go ahead and regulate crypto. Not only that, but the UK also went ahead and banned crypto ATMs. Okay, like I think it's one of those situations where they don't fully understand what's happening, and so they're trying to regulate it out of fear, partly for their constituents not wanting people to be taken advantage of, all of that. But then also, they're probably protecting some of the bigwig financial folks out there who, lobby them, pay them, take them to expensive trips, all those good things. So again, wrapping it up. My opinion, if you do not currently have exposure to Monero, to Thorchain, to some of these other truly decentralized protocols that operate outside of central exchanges, operate outside of regulatory bodies, I think that you could be doing yourself a disservice by not doing that. So again, if you want me to make a video on my top decentralized picks, let me know in the comments and we can definitely get that scheduled. And then the last thing here, so we had Polygon Studios. So we had Polygon, and then Polygon went ahead and created Polygon Studios, completely laser focused on the metaverse and gaming. And they had some major hires come out this week. So the first one, and kind of the main one I'm going to be paying attention to, is Michael Blank, who was hired as the COO of this division for Polygon Matic. And interesting enough, if we look at Michael Blank's work history, he has spent 20 years with Electronic Arts, overseeing their player network, their social engagement, and all those great things. So I think, again, if you're kind of creating a GameFi portfolio, if you've been sleeping on Polygon Matic, not financial advice, but I think it is going to be a leader in the space for years to come because of some of these strategic moves. Now they went ahead and they also hired over a CFO, Young Ko. Hopefully I pronounced that name right. He was the former VP of Finance at Penske Media, where he operated with brands such as Rolling Stone, Billboard, Variety, and South by Southwest. So, when you hire these folks, one of the things that you look for is also the network for which they have access to. Okay, so if he has access to Rolling Stone, top music brands, Billboard, Variety, there's some value in there outside of just hiring the individual. Now, those two hires, they go ahead and they're actually going to join Ryan Wyatt, who was hired back in January 25th from Polygon Studios also as their CEO. And Ryan Wyatt came over from YouTube as their YouTube gaming lead. So they've kind of created like an epic team to go ahead and lead this protocol. Again, I own Polygon Matic. It's part of my GameFi portfolio, and I definitely feel it's a great pick if you're trying to build like a GameFi exposure cryptocurrency portfolio. So if you want to go ahead and see some of my crypto gaming reviews and maybe try and build out that gaming portfolio a little bit better, I do have a playlist on the channel going over crypto gaming in particular. Jump in and kind of show you some of this amazing video of this guy buying a car with Bitcoin in Ukraine to evade Russia's invasion.
One of the main reasons we're sort of bugging out of the West is that if the Russians do blow up the bridges, because there's a large river that runs dead through the center of Ukraine, if they do blow up the bridges, and that's, most people have said that probably is going to happen to cut off the east and west. If they do blow those bridges, we're not getting across. The legendary car.
Legendary car.
There's zero, it's very hard to get money at the moment, so we found someone that actually would sell us a car with Bitcoin. We're in central Ukraine at the moment, and we basically have to get west as fast as possible, so we might end up having to ditch this, but it's at this point it's actually the fastest, safest, quickest way for us to get the fuck out of here.
So how about that, guys? Like, all the bullshit that people talk about, we're going off the stream guard now. Like, I'm just going to be flying here, but all the stuff around Russia evading sanctions with crypto. Look at all this garbage. Crypto misuse from Bloomberg Law. G7 has some stuff. New York Times. Borderless, frictionless, censor-resistant, digital peer-to-peer currency. Like, this is a true representation of what Satoshi was aiming for when he created Bitcoin, right? Like, these gentlemen wanted to get out of Ukraine. The Ukrainian fiat currency, whatever it is, it's worthless, right? And so to have something like this that is outside of the restriction zone of Russia, of these nation states, that allow people to still kind of take care of business in the most extreme environments. Like, I think that's just wildly cool. Wildly cool that we're at this moment in time participating in this like snapshot of history where crypto is really showing what its use case can be to the entire world.